Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope your day and your week are going well so far. It's a very special Thursday today because today is MLB opening day for the 2024 season. And with opening day here, it means the official start of my daily MLB player prop videos. This is the first year I'm doing this. Last year I didn't do this. So this is my first time ever doing MLB player prop videos here on the channel. So guys, if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer of the channel, of my daily player props videos for NBA, whatever the case may be, welcome. This will be my daily MLB player prop video series. There's always something special about opening day, the vibes. It just feels great to have baseball back and to know that until basically October, every single night we're going to have some sort of MLB action on. So you'll never really get bored. We have a great slate tonight, a ton of games. I will say off the bat, this opening day is a little less exciting for me just because if you see the shirt here, I am a Boston Red Sox fan, and I do think that we are going to suck ass this year. So that does hamper my opening day excitement a little bit. The fact that coming into the season that we are the worst team in the AL East and one of the worst teams, I think, in Major League Baseball this season. But that's okay. Still opening day. Still great vibes. Really excited for baseball to be back. If you are a Sox fan, I'm sure you can feel my pain. Hopefully John Henry sells the team sometime soon. Guys, comment opening day down below. Let's get the vibes going. Drop that comment down below to get more and more people here on the channel to watch these videos, to build this community up. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Again, comment opening day in the comment section below to make sure we have a great start to our 2024 MLB season. All right, guys, enough with the pageantry. Let's get into today's video. So, I'm taking a page out of Ev's book. Now, normally I don't watch Ev's videos in the morning, usually because we kind of record around the same time. Today, I did watch a little bit of Ev's MLB video, and I'm going to be taking a page out of his book where I'm going to go a little conservative here on the first day. Look, baseball is, and like he said in his video, it is a very analytical sport when it comes to sports betting. If you watch my daily NBA videos, you know I like to use analytics to make my picks. We have no analytics right now because obviously it's day one of the season. All we have is last year's analytics, and of course, from year to year, things change drastically. So that's my advice to you guys. It's also the advice that I'm taking myself. I'm giving you guys a smaller prop slate today. Obviously, that'll grow as the season goes along. We've got a ton of games. There's 162 games for every single team, so plenty of time to make some money here. But we're gonna play conservative today, and that's my advice to you guys. If you're betting at home, please be cautious today. It's the first day. You don't want to go too crazy and spoil your whole bankroll on day one. And of course, I say be conservative as I have 8 player props to hand out for today's video. But again, it's 8 player props. I'm just giving you guys a bunch of data. These are plays that I think if you're going to play props tonight, these are the best options. It's so funny. I literally forgot how many props I took. I do have 8 props for tonight's slate. Let's start off here with the Twins and Royals game, which kicks off at 4:10 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Pablo Lopez of the Minnesota Twins over 5.5 strikeouts. Go ahead and kick this over to the Outlier screen now, guys. If you know what Outlier is, they're the best sports betting tool on the market. There is a special link in the description below that gives you a 7-day free trial. Do try it out for yourself. I'm telling you guys, now if you watch my NBA videos, you know how useful Outlier is. When it comes to MLB, it's a different level. I think MLB might be the most, they have the most stats and information. I'm scrolling down here to show you guys just how much information is here for the MLB games. I mean, there's so much data here. I love their NBA stuff, but their MLB stuff might top it. They have so much information here. It's unbelievable. Guys, with baseball season coming up, there's a lot of games, a lot of props to pick through. You're going to want this tool to help you guys pick some winners here. So one more time, link in the description below, 7-day free trial to try it out for yourself. All right, guys, so here we go. Pablo Lopez over 5.5 strikeouts. This prop is available on practically every sports book here you see down below. I primarily use DraftKings, That is -140, but I do have an announcement to make here. For MLB season, although DraftKings is my primary sportsbook choice for NBA, it's not necessarily for baseball. I'm trying to decide which sportsbook I'm leaning on. I still probably will ride with DraftKings majority of the time, but BetMGM, I'm telling you guys, is actually really, really good for MLB player props. Obviously, I prefer DraftKings, but BetMGM, they have a lot of options for props. But whatever you guys choose here, those are all the sports books that it is available and the varying odds. I'll make sure throughout the year to show you guys the multiple sports books and the odds available across each sportsbook here. So again, we have no data for this year. This is all coming off of last year's data. So I'm not going to look at last 10 and last 20 because that doesn't really matter. That happened months and months and months ago. What I'm really focused on for today's slate of props is the head-to-head matchup. And you see here for Pablo Lopez, the head-to-head matchup is very strong. He's cashed this over 5.5 strikeouts in each of his last 3 matchups versus the Kansas City Royals all last season. You see here an average of 9 strikeouts per game versus the Royals. Now look, again, this is the flaw in the data is that the Royals are a very different team than they were a year ago. They made a lot of free agent signings in the offseason. So it's tough to look at this and say, oh yeah, this is a surefire bet because listen, the Royals are a better team, but I still think this number is pretty good overall. You saw on the season as a whole last year, he had a 79% hit rate, 27 out of 34 games last year, 34 starts. He hit this over, an average of 7.18 strikeouts per game. Pretty good data there for Pablo Lopez. You see, the last time they played in July, he had 12 strikeouts. Unbelievable. And you look at the data here for Kansas City. Now, this is all coming off of last season, but they weren't a great team. You look at the strikeout percentage there. Bottom half of the league, 23% strikeout percentage for Kansas City on the season. You look at Pablo Lopez on the year last year, he ranked in the higher percentiles in terms of strikeout percentage, strikeouts per 9 innings and all that stuff. So really good data for Pablo Lopez there. So again, there's not a ton to go off of here. But again, the head-to-head data is so strong here that I have no choice but to take this prop. All right, guys, staying in that 4:10 p.m. first pitch window, we're switching over to the Tigers-White Sox game, and we're going with Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers over 6.5 strikeouts. Now I know I said just ignore the last 10 and last 20 data, but Skubal had a very strong finish the last year, and 8 straight starts for the Tigers to end the last year. He cashed this over in strikeouts, got really hot for Detroit towards the end of the season here. And you look at the head-to-head data versus Chicago. You see here, in both times he played them last year, he cashed this over. The last time they played on September 9th, he had 9 strikeouts versus Chicago. And then the time before that, on September 3rd, he had 7 strikeouts. So the head-to-head data is pretty good. While the head-to-head data is strong, you look at here, Chicago White Sox versus left-handed pitchers, the data is even better. They were a bottom 5 team in MLB in terms of strikeout percentage, 25%, which obviously is really good for us here. So the data is strong versus left-handed pitchers. You look at Skubal last year, high percentiles, 32.9%. Strikeout percentage last season, 11.4 strikeouts per 9 innings. So it's all really solid data from Skubal last year. If you look at the right side of the screen here, the guys, this is versus Skubal since 2018. You see not a lot of success. Paul DeJong batting .400 against them. Again, this data is not just last year. This dates back to all the way 2018, the last 5 years. Lopez, .273 batting average, not bad. And the only other person is Robert, .333. But you look at their at-bats, not a ton of at-bats. You see like Benintendi struggles versus him. Vaughn struggles. Moncada struggles versus him. Jimenez. So a lot of good data here for this prop. Like I said, guys, when we get more data as the season goes along, we'll get in a little bit more of a groove here in terms of what I'm going to share with you guys in terms of data for every prop here. Our third prop of today's slate, sticking in that 4:10 p.m. First pitch window, we're going with the Pirates-Marlins game. We're going with Josh Bell of the Miami Marlins over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Again, we're ignoring all the last 5, last 10, last 20 stuff. We're not looking at any of that today. We're just looking at the head-to-head data here. And each of the last 2 times he's faced off with the Pittsburgh Pirates, he has cashed this over. You see, the last time they played, he actually had a pretty big game versus them on September 30th. He had 3 RBIs and 2 hits versus Miami here. And you look at the matchup data here for Josh Bell. Again, outlier. So much good information here on the website. You guys, I'm telling you guys, you got to have it. You look at the head-to-head, Josh Bell versus Keller since 2018, 8 plate appearances, an .800 batting average, 4 hits, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 0 strikeouts, an 875 OBP on base percentage there for Bell. So really strong head-to-head data versus Keller. Now, Josh Bell versus right-handed pitchers in general last season, a slight dip in the batting average. Overall, he batted .247 last year. Versus right-handed pitchers in 2023, he batted .239. But again, only a slight dip in the average. Still solid data overall. But you look at Mitch Keller here, and versus left-handed batters, he really struggled compared to his normal data. On the season, his ERA in general was a 4.21. Versus left-handed batters, it raised to 4.87, which obviously you see it in green, means it's good for us. His batting average allowed jumped to 253. His home runs per 9 innings, 1.5. So it looks pretty good here. The data is strong. Again, he cashed each of the last 2 times he's faced off with the Pirates. He's got a pretty good career data versus Mitch Keller. I like this for the third prop of today's slate. All right, guys, next up, the fourth prop in today's slate. We're targeting the Cardinals-Dodgers game, which, again, kicks off at 4:10 p.m. First pitch. football videos, basketball videos, now transitioning to baseball videos. I got to get rid of the basketball and football lingo there. First pitch at 4:10 p.m. for Cardinals-Dodgers. We're going with Miles Mikolas, who I can't confirm that he's Greek, but I'm 100% that last name is Greek. I think he's a Patrioti. I think he's a Greek. Over 5.5 hits allowed. Now, looking at the season total last year, a 66% hit rate for him last year. In 23 out of 35 starts, he had an average, he hit the over, and he had an average of 6.46 hits allowed per game last season. And look at the head-to-head data here. Last season versus the Dodgers on May 20th, he gave up 6 hits in that game versus LA. And look here for the Dodgers versus right-handed pitchers. They are the second best team in Major League Baseball last season with a 262 batting average. You see here, all the data is very strong versus right-handed pitchers. You look at Mikolas, his batting average allowed 282, strikeout percentage is kind of low. So for our purposes here, the data looks really good. Mikolas, again, he gave it up the last time he played the Dodgers. The Dodgers, I mean, their offense is loaded, and they're even more loaded this year than they were last year. If you look at the right side of the screen here, Mikolas matching up versus individual Dodger players. You see Freddie Freeman. This is data, again, from 2018 and on. Freddie Freeman, 11 at-bats versus him, 455 batting average. Freeman's had a lot of success. Kike Hernandez had some success. You see Mookie Betts batting 400. Ohtani batting 667. So you see here a lot of guys on the Dodgers have had some success hitting against Mikolas. I don't think that's going to change here. The matchup's good. It's very solid data. Again, the Dodgers, they were one of the best hitting teams in baseball last year. I expect it to be exactly the same this year. And Mikolas, in his career versus the Dodgers, he kind of gets lit up. All right, guys, moving on. The fifth prop of today's slate. We're switching gears to the San Francisco Giants-San Diego Padres game. We're going with Yu Darvish of the San Diego Padres over 4.5 hits allowed. You look at his season numbers last year in 2023, a 67% hit rate on this over. 16 out of 24 starts last year for Darvish, he hit this over with an average of 5.58 hits allowed per game. You look at the head-to-head data here. The 2 times he's faced off with the Giants last season, he cashed the over. He gave up 9 hits in that April 30th matchup. In their June 21st matchup, he gave up 7 hits. Here's a little more data here. Batters faced and hits allowed. You see, he faced 6 batters on that April 30th matchup last year. Gave up 9 hits at a 35% hit rate again versus batters faced. You see here on June 21st, 26 batters faced. He gave up 7 hits at a 27% hit rate there for Yu Darvish. And again, LR gives you insights. We're not really looking at this because he's exceeded 4.5 hits allowed in 5 of his last 6 games. We're talking about things that happened back in September. So I'm not really too concerned with that. Although the Giants' data versus right-handed pitchers isn't great, Yu Darvish stats are pretty good. A batting average allowed of 260. So his strikeout percentage is moderately, it's okay. Overall, the data is still pretty good here. You look at the right side of the screen here, there are quite a few players since 2018 who've had success. Mike Yastrzemski especially. Michael Conforto, some good numbers there. Some good numbers there for the Giants hitters versus Yu Darvish since 2018. So overall, the data, it's not the strongest of today's slate, but strong data. Again, the head-to-head data is really strong. I do like this prop here. All right, guys, for our 6th prop of today's slate, we're moving into a later game window now. We're going with the Cubs-Rangers game, which kicks off at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Corey Seager of the Texas Rangers over 1.5 total bases. Now, the head-to-head data is pretty strong here. Each of the last 3 times he's faced off with the Chicago Cubs, he has cashed this over. You see, all 3 times he played them last year, he had at least 2 total bases, an average of 2.33 total bases per game. You see down here, kind of similar to that Josh Bell bet we had a little bit earlier in the video. You see here, Corey Seager, now his numbers versus left-handed pitchers, it does dip. You see on normal, in total, I should say, in 2023, he had a batting average of 327, and then you see versus left-handed pitchers last year, it dips to 314. So, the data does dip a little bit, but overall, it's still pretty solid. 83 total bases and 166 plate appearances versus left-handed pitchers. But what we really like to see here is Justin Steele of the Chicago Cubs. You see his data versus left-handed batters is a significant jump. In total last year, he had a 3.06 ERA, pretty good. But versus left-handed batters, that jumps to 4.76. You see here a straight line of green across the board. His batting average allowed goes up. His slugging percentage allowed goes up. Extra base, his percentage goes up. So Justin Steele versus left-handed batters really does struggle. And I know Corey Seager versus left-handed pitchers, his numbers go down slightly, but it's not enough to really, you see the extra base hit percentage, 48% to 40%. It's still strong enough, but Justin Steele's data really takes a massive jump. And you see here, since 2018, he's only faced off, Corey Seager has only faced off with Justin Steele one time, but he had three plate appearances, batting .667. He had 2 hits, 3 total bases, 1 extra base hit in that last time that they played there, that he played it versus Justin Steele. So not a lot of head-to-head data versus Steele in particular, but versus the Cubs in general and versus Steele, the data is pretty good. All right, guys, just 2 props left in today's slate. Here's the 7th prop. We're now kicking on to the late night games here. And as a Red Sox fan, you know I had to throw one Red Sox prop in here. And with the state of the team, there's not a lot of good options here. But I will take one that I do feel pretty confident. That's Jarren Duran over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. You see here is available on pretty much every sportsbook except for FanDuel. And I believe Caesars also, it does not have it. But the data, we're not looking again out of this data. It's not very good. On the 2023 season as a whole, a 51% hit rate, 51 out of 100 games. He cashed this over with an average of 1.84 hits plus RBIs plus runs in those games. But the head-to-head data is very strong. You see here, and it's each of his last 6 games versus Seattle all last year, 100% hit rate, an average of 3 hits plus runs plus RBIs against the Seattle Mariners. So solid head-to-head data here for Jarren Duran versus Seattle. And if you look at the matchup data, it's pretty good. He's faced off with Luis Castillo one time last year against Seattle. He had 3 plate appearances, batting .333. He had 1 hit, 1 home run, and 1 RBI. Not bad data there. You look at the head-to-head data versus the type of pitcher. You see Jarren Duran versus right-handed pitchers. He's actually slightly better. It's about the same on average. You see here versus right-handed pitchers. It's pretty much the same. It looks like he faced the majority of the time right-handed pitchers last year. Luis Castillo, on the other hand, versus left-handed batters, the data, it does take a little bit of a jump there. See his ERA for the season last year was 3.34. It does jump to 4.18 versus left-handed batters. His batting average allowed takes a little bit of a jump there. His OBA takes a jump. His home run per 9 innings takes a jump. So versus left-handed batters, you see a little more struggle there from Luis Castillo. But the data is strong enough that I am willing to recommend this prop to you guys. And the 8th and final prop for today's slate, guys, we're going with the Colorado Rockies Arizona Diamondbacks game. We're going with Chris Bryant of the Colorado Rockies under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. You see the head-to-head data in each of his last 4 games versus Arizona. Again, all last year, he cashed this under. And on the season as a whole last season, a 54% hit rate, 43 out of 80 games last year, he cashed this under. Since 2018, you look at the head-to-head data there, 15 plate appearances, a .250 batting average with just 3 hits since 2018 against Zach Gallen of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Not great hitting data there for Chris Bryant. Not terrible, but not great. You look at the splits here. In 2023, Chris Bryant, .233 batting average, kind of struggled last year for the Rockies, but versus right-handed pitchers, he took a little bit of a slight bump, went up to .239, but again, it's about on par with what he did all last year. It's not a significant jump, but versus Zach Gallen, the data is a little bit better. Again, not a significant jump, but a jump nonetheless. On the 2023 season as a whole here, you see a 3.47 ERA. That ERA just does go down versus right-handed batters to 3.10, so he's a slightly better pitcher versus right-handed batters. His batting average allowed goes down to 232. His home run per 9 inning drops. His OBA drops. So overall, solid data there for Zach Gallen. And I put a little filter here to show you guys Chris Bryant's numbers versus last season on the road and versus right-handed pitchers like Zach Gallen. A 56% hit rate, 15 out of 27 games he cashed this under. So overall, the data is pretty strong. I do like this for the 8th and final prop of today's slate. Guys, that is it for me today. Again, we're going to get into a groove here. I know sometimes I'm slipping up on my words a little bit here today, but we are trying, it's tough when you're going from NBA to NFL to MLB and like jumping sports and trying to stick with the lingo and everything. This is also my first time doing MLB Player Prop videos, so bear with me here as I kind of get in the groove of things. Thank you very much, as always, for watching, guys. Make sure to comment opening day down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I will be dropping videos almost daily. Again, I never do videos on Sundays, whether it be MLB, NBA. I don't do videos on Sundays, but pretty much every other day of the week, I do videos. So you're going to get pretty much daily MLB player prop videos, of course, unless there's anything crazy that happens in my schedule. You'll be getting these videos pretty much daily. But guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. Again, one more time, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below. Outlier 7-day free trial with the special link in the description below. Again, you see all the data here And as the season going, I'll go back to the LR screen for just 1 second here. I know this video is running a little long. There's so much information here, and I only gave you guys a little bit of it. As the year goes along and we get more data for this season, I can show you guys a lot more. I mean, there's so much. I didn't even show you guys the heat maps and stuff like that. I mean, they have so much, the pitch arsenal and Zach Gallen's percentages there. There's so much information here. I only gave you guys a little bit of it. There's so much more to share. Guys, there's so much information on Outlier. You guys really should give it a shot. It's 7 days. You don't like it, you cancel it. It is what it is. But if you like it, it's a really good sports betting tool to help you guys win your bets. So guys, until tomorrow, I hope we're all winners. Happy opening day. Enjoy MLB baseball being back. I'll see you guys tomorrow.